Mini skirt on, dip my body in glitter. Platform sneakers, all the boys want a picture. Two foreign cars, I make rich look richer. Save your breath, baby, I'm not going home with ya. Mini skirt on, dip my body in glitter.
Hello. You are now tuned in to the A Little Bit A Lot podcast. I'm your host, Kristen. Welcome. It's another great day out here in the neighborhood. And yeah, so excited for today's episode. Let's just jump right into it, Let's just go straight in. Today I do have the microphone on my shirt. So let's see how that sounds rather than me just like holding it. I got sick of that really quick, huh? Got tired of that really fast. So hopefully the audio is still good. But anyways, this week I wanted to talk about, let's just go straight into WaterTok. I understand that this has been like something that the girlies have been talking about for several months now, but I just like really only recently got into it. And it's like, I'm just here to say that's like, people need to leave people on WaterTok alone. Seriously. Like, nobody's thinking about the fact that WaterTok started from, I think, bariatric patients. I read somewhere that like bariatric patients sometimes like can't tolerate regular water or something like that. And like having the flavor helps them. I don't really know, but I know like it has to do with like bariatric surgery patients. And when it comes to them, it's like, I don't play because I, applaud anybody who's like able to put their health first and like go through with that process. I've been on like a health journey myself pretty much for the last like year, and it's not easy. So it's like I could, easily go, like my doctor recommended me to like a bariatric, location, but I don't have the guts to like go through with the surgery. Like I don't even know how I would do, post-ops, incisions. I don't even know. Like what are the technicalities of that? I have no clue. But, shout out to them. Like it's not something that I could go through with. So I'm just trying to do like the natural way, but more to you. And honestly, I feel like the WaterTok situation, it has gone viral. Movie. Shout out to Fabio. Every time I say the word viral, like it makes me think about Fabio Foreign. Pow! I love drill music and I love Fabio Foreign. Like, I love his music. It just gets me going. It makes me just turn up. I love it. But yeah, it's been going viral and I don't see what's wrong with it. And like, I've always, like growing up, I've always had an issue with drinking water. I've always been like a juice girl, but the older I got and the more like into my health and stuff that I got, I realized that like drinking water is something that, is important. Like you do want to get your hydration in. And I've been through like every phase before where it's like I was on WaterTok before WaterTok was a thing, like we've all heard of like Crystal Light packets and stuff. I went through a Crystal Light era where I would like have a pitcher in my mom's house when I was still living, at home. It would dump that Crystal Light in there, stir that up, put it in the fridge, have that for the week. My mom used to be so irritated because I'd have like Crystal Light powder. Like she would like wipe the counters off and then the paper towel would be like red from the powder. And I'm like, sorry, didn't do that on purpose. But yeah, like I've always been into that. And then there was like a time period where I was like, no, I'm just going to do like just straight water. And then, that kind of got like boring. And then for some reason, it was just like in my head, it was just so hard for me to keep drinking regular water without feeling like I was going to gag like earlier this year. And I'm just like, I don't know. And then once I found WaterTok, I was just like, this might be something I need to get back into. But I was like kind of over the Crystal Light era because I just feel like with the Crystal Light, it kind of has like, it makes my mouth dry. It has like this aftertaste. I know that's a lot of times why people are like judging WaterTok because, you know, they don't like the taste of like, what is it, like artificial sweeteners or whatever the heck. But I feel like you just have to find your brand. Like, not every brand has like an aftertaste. And with my specific brand, I've come to like the Nerds. You know, the candy Nerds, they have like Nerds water packets. And I just drink that every day. And I discovered that like my favorite flavor of the Nerds is cherry, because that's pretty much like the only flavor of drink that I ever drink when it comes to like Slurpees, cherry. Drinks, cherry. Fruit punch, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just a fruit cherry girl down. So I like the Nerds packets, and I would get those like from Walmart, because sometimes I do like Walmart delivery groceries for me and my boyfriend, and I would get like the Nerds packets, just a box of cherry. But then I realized like that was starting to get out of stock. So then I would order the big box that would come with like 9 sticks of cherry and like 12 or something like raspberries and then grapes, which I don't even like grape flavored anything. Like, I can't stand anything grape flavored. So buying that whole entire like variety box was like out. And I'm like, this isn't working, because I'm just like literally wasting the rest of the box because I only want the cherries. So, and then it's like, it just sucks because the cherries are like the least amount in the big box that you get too. Like, you get more raspberry, you get more grape than anything. And like cherry, that's like the least amount. So I ended up like finding some of it on Amazon. I ended up buying like 12 boxes of this cherry flavor. So right down my cabinet, I'm locked and loaded with the cherry flavor. And I was using like this water bottle, but then I just realized that like my drinks were like getting cold fast because it wasn't like insulated or anything. And I got over that like really fast. And I've been trying to drink like 32 to 60 ounces a day, but it's like, let's be real, like the weight loss girlies be like 60 ounces, 90 ounces. Like, how are you not exploding on the toilet every freaking 3 seconds? You know, like, that's another concern that I have with like everybody saying that they drink this much water a day. It's like, I hate having to use the bathroom so much. And it's like, I want to stay hydrated. You know, I want to be about that life, but drinking that much water every day is freaking difficult. So it's like, I don't know, dude, like, I'm just trying. I really am. But the most that I can like really manage is one 32 ouncer. And in the end, I was like, okay, well, this is getting too cold. Like, now it's time to like step my game up with the WaterTok. I need to invest. So I ended up getting a Hydro Flask, and I understand like Hydro Flask is so old news. Like, I think the girls are like using Stanley cups and all that kind of stuff. I don't need nothing with a holder or anything like that. Like, Stanley just didn't appeal to me. So in the end, I got a Hydro Flask. For the people on YouTube, this is my Hydro Flask. Okay, a little ASMR. The ice that's in there. I got this cute little Hydro Flask, and I think the thing that I like about it most also is that like you can customize it, because now that I'm like getting back into myself, you know, in my late 20s, and like allowing myself to just like do the things that like heal my inner child, I discovered that I really like stickers. So I ended up getting a bunch of stickers on Etsy. One of these stickers my sister gave me, it says Material Girl. If you can't see, it's spelled GWORL. I think she got this from Hot Topic. But yeah, this sticker eats, and it just always reminds me of Saucy Santana. Material Girl. But yeah, and then I have like another cute little sticker with Bella and Edward from Twilight, because as I mentioned before, I am a huge Twilight fan. So this is a sticker of them sitting in the little meadow. Here's a sticker that I got from the Flow concert that I've talked about, that I went to, that says Flow. I also have a Sims 4 plumb bob with like accents that show like flowers on the outside of it, because I really love The Sims. Hopefully I can get into that more. I mean, what can you really talk about, you know, on The Sims on a podcast? I mean, like, eventually one day, like, I would love to get into like streaming. I don't know if anybody will be interested in that, because it's like, I'm a legacy Sims game player. Like, my sister's always like, you need to come up with like new, you know, characters to play. And it's like, why? I am perfectly fine with playing with the same family. And my main Sims family that I have, the mom's name is Desiree, and like I started playing with her like in 2017, I think. Like it's been like real life years. And I go through like phases with Sims. Even though I love it so much, it's like it's not a game that I feel like I can play all year round. So I'll play it for like a month straight and then go like 6 months without playing it. You know, I just feel like that kind of adds that little like spice where it's like it makes you excited for it, you know? So it's like I've been with Desiree since she's been in the trenches. I have the Get Famous pack, and I had her start off, you know, as a small influencer where she was just trying to get a following, trying to make music, trying to get into the acting biz. And the next thing you know, she's become a celebrity. She ended up meeting her husband. Now she has kids. She lives in a mansion. You know, and that's been fun. And now she has like 3 children. Technically she had one miscarriage because I was playing the game one time and I had like a baby shower, and then it was too hot outside, so then everybody ended up dying. Like her niece and nephew died, and then she ended up dying from like heat exhaustion or whatever. So I had to like turn the game off because I'm like, I cannot have my girl dying. I've literally had her for forever, and like now my baby's gone. So it's like I always think about that baby. I'm always still think about that baby and be like, what could have been, you know? Like it was sad. It was a very stressful day. I'm like, golly, I did not anticipate everybody falling out. But yeah, I really like The Sims. And then I have like Fly Girl by Flo, and then I have my Beyonce sticker that says Alien Superstar. So yeah, WaterTok has just been life-changing for me. And I know everybody uses like those skinny syrups or whatever. I think that's what they're called, skinny syrups. So I add, like, I feel like a Starbucks barista in the mornings when I make my water, because I've never been like a Starbucks girl. I don't like frappes and coffee and like all that stuff. Like whenever I go to Starbucks, the only thing I get is a cake pop, a croissant, and a lemonade. And even then, like sometimes I only like getting it from like certain Starbucks, because if you go to like specific Starbucks, they'll have like lemonade with pulp in it. And it's like, ugh. I'm not the type of person that likes lemonade with pulp in it. Like, I don't want nothing floating in my juice. Okay, get the frack. But yeah, that's what I usually get from Starbucks. So being at home, I feel like a little barista. Like, I'm able to just take my water bottle, pump one of those cherry syrups in it. Yes, I'm giving cherry on cherry. Cherry syrup, 1 pump. Okay, depending on the drink. Because if I'm using like my Hawaiian Punch little drink packets, I need 2, right? 2 pumps of cherry. But if I'm using my Nerds packet, the flavor is a lot more intense, so I only need 1 pump. 1 pump of that cherry, right? 4 cubes of ice, because I have like big ice cubes. 4 cubes of ice. Fill that boy up, add the water packet, fill that boy up with water, shake it up, and you're good to go. You take your morning supplements, you log on, you come into your office, you get on the computer, you clock in, you get cozy, and you're good to freaking go. So yeah, like WaterTok, I feel like has been like good for me. I've been wanting to like make a TikTok about like how I make my waters, but I just feel like it would be pointless because it's like I don't do like what other people do, where they're like mermaid, unicorn, peach, watermelon, you know, like all of these different flavors and stuff, and like syrups and packets and all of that, because like I'm just simple down, like 1 flavor, 1 syrup. When that syrup runs out, I order another cherry. Keep it a buck. Like what? Let's keep it a buck, you know? Like dunzo. So yeah, like my WaterTok experience is like very simple, but it's efficient and it does what it needs to do for me. So let me know if any of you guys are into WaterTok, you know, that haven't been judgmental about it, because it's like, it just irritates me so much whenever I see the comments and everybody being like, it's not water, it's juice. And it's like, I don't know, like what the frick makes it juice? Like it is water. It's just a packet that's going in there, a flavor that still makes it water. Like it's 0 sugar, 0 calories. Like, I don't know, like, oh, those comments just irritate me so much because it's just like, it's not even that serious. Like, we're literally on this planet for a little bit of time. We may as well have fun with our water. Like, what's the point of like being boring with it, or like just drinking plain old H2O? Like, I don't know. And I feel like people like literally could have something better to do than like make the girls on TikTok feel bad about what they're drinking. And it's like, first of all, y'all over here like, it's just juice. Meanwhile, y'all are like literally having tequila for breakfast. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so irritating how this is like some wholesome thing that's like actually can be good for you. Meanwhile, the other girlies' diets be like so effed up. Y'all are drinking, y'all are doing this, but then want to be like, and then feel some type of way about like WaterTok people. Like, leave them alone. Leave us alone. You know what? I can't even say us. Like, I'm not even really qualified at WaterTok. Like I said, I just drink one little thing. But yeah. Anyways, so that's my rant. I had to like say my piece about WaterTok because it's just getting too crazy. It's just getting too crazy, and I want them to just be left alone. There's this one specific lady who's like lost a lot of weight, and she's just so nice, and it's like, why be mean? If this is what she likes to do, it's literally not hurting her. It's not hurting her body or anybody else. And like half the time these people are saying that they're like doing this under the what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like, their doctors are saying that it's okay to do this. So like, why give them a hard time? I don't know. Anyway, my next subject that I wanted to talk about is college. I don't know. I've just been like reminiscing about my college days these days. I ended up graduating in 2018 from college, and it was a doozy. Like, I feel like I want to get more into talking about college, but just to like kind of give it like a surface level, like overall like gist, I feel like it was tough. And like, I was recently looking at my degree the other day, and I'm just like, dang, like I really did that, you know? And I think that a lot of times like society downplays like how difficult or also like how traumatizing the experience can be, but it's just not easy. And if I could go back, like I don't know, like I just don't know if I would have gotten a degree. Like I said, I wanted a degree, but I could have easily got the job that I currently have by getting a certificate and like had half of the turmoil, you know, like, but you can't take it back. And at the end of the day, like I am happy that I do have an associate's in medical reimbursement, like with billing and coding, but like it was tough. It was really, really tough. And just like a few quick points that I wanted to talk about, because I was thinking about one super funny story. Well, at the time it was like kind of traumatic, but I had like a psychology class, and oh my God, like anytime I talk about psychology, like I literally just feel like I get triggered. Like, people don't talk about the fact that like psychology is a class that is so difficult, and it's like, yes, it's really interesting, and there's like a lot of like things that you can learn in gyms and stuff, but I really feel like your psychology teacher can like make or break your experience when it comes to that course. And I feel like mine like tried to break me, you know, because like she was an older lady, you know, no offense to the older ladies out there, you know, but it's like once you get a teacher who's like, oh, I'm a professor, you know, and they kind of like get in their bag and they kind of think that they're a little bit like mighty, then it gets stressful. And I just feel like that class was just stressful for no reason. Like, she would have us do prompts. And I remember one time, like, she said that we were supposed to like do an assignment a certain way. And then I did that, and she was like, no, do it this way. So then the next assignment that I had, I did it the way that she said to do it. And then she still was like, oh, no. And then I had to like call her out and be like, okay, well, you just said to do it this way. And then she turned around and was like, oh, yeah, you're right. And then like gave me the credits that I was supposed to get. And I'm just like, girl, huh? Like, I hate when teachers act like that. Professors act like that. Like, you're just trying to make everything so complicated for what? And then it's like, also like, why are these classes so expensive? Like, honestly feel like with my experience, like I don't really think that this was giving $900 worth of education. Like all you're giving me is turmoil, and you're more focused on like formatting and citation than like actually educating me when it comes to like me turning in my papers and stuff. And then one experience that I had that was just like super annoying was that we ended up having to work in groups. And I'm not saying that like I have anything against groups, but I also am saying I have something against groups. Like, this is just a safe space. And let's be real, like there are some people out there who are extroverted and they love, you know, collaboration and stuff like that. But, you know, with my type of personality, I just feel like I have to be in control because of my anxiety. So it's like, if we're supposed to be in a group and then this person isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing and that person isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing, plus I'm taking school very seriously, it's kind of just like now I'm getting stressed because it's like you're gonna bring me down with you, you know? And I feel like I was taking college like so seriously because like my high school experience was just, it started off with my freshman and sophomore year being really good. But then junior and senior was like really dark time in my life. Like I barely made it through graduation. Like I was giving like D's, you know what I mean? Because of my mental health. So I barely even, like the day we were supposed to get our cap and gowns, I didn't know that I was like gonna get my cap and gown yet until my teacher had to like go and like tweak one of my grades because I technically didn't pass. And she said, you'll know if you didn't pass if I give you a D or something like that. And then it said an E. And I'm like, okay, well now it's saying I can't graduate. So then I had to email her and then she changed it. And then I was able to get my cap and gown. But like, oh my God, like that was traumatizing. So I really wanted to like make up for that in college because I just felt like, well, you know, I feel like I was a failure. So like I may as well try harder with college and like really apply myself and like stay up all night and do my homework. And like a crazy person, I used to like want to be able to have like as much free time as possible because college and school is just something I just like dislike so much. So I would do my homework for the entire week on Fridays or like Saturdays. Like I would do all of it. And like that would end up me like spending like 7-8 hours like giving full work shift to do all of my homework so then I could have free time. But it's like that's just what worked for me, and that's what got me through college because I just needed that time. Like it was just too much. But yeah, so I took it very seriously. And then when we had to do our group work, in the psychology class, I'm just like, okay, like I'm trying to get like a 4.0 GPA. I'm trying to graduate with honors. I want those freaking cords around this neck. You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to like prove this to myself that I can do this. And so when you get paired in a group where the group isn't really giving what you need them to give, I was like panicking. I ended up being in this group with like this girl, this guy, and then this other girl who was like an exchange student or something like that. I don't know. It seemed like she was like from another country and she had an accent. And she was always like chronically overstimulated and confused because she was taking so many classes at once, and then on top of that, like barely even could understand what was going on, and had a kid and like couldn't really understand English. So it's like when it came time for us to do our work, I'm like, God, of course I'm in this class with her. No offense to like people who can't really understand English or whatever. But me, I'm just like, I gotta put me first. Like I gotta put me first.
I gotta put me first. I gotta put me first. I gotta put me first, Lucian.
So I just already knew like she wasn't gonna be able to give anything to the group. Like she barely even participated in any of the work. And then like we would have an assignment due, share the Google Doc, and then when it's almost 11:59, to turn it in, nobody else would have like contributed anything to the document. So basically in this class, I ended up doing like all of the work, like pretty much every time. And then the few times that like the other group members would participate and give something, it just wasn't giving. Like the guy would turn in his assignment, his part of the assignment, and I'm like, I don't really like anything he wrote. Like none of this is giving. And I grew up like wanting to be a writer, so I always took like pride in like any writing assignments that I had. So I'm just like, ooh, like this isn't it. So I would end up having to like do double the work because when he would do his part, I didn't really like it. Like it just wasn't really good. So at the time, like, I was just super stressed and overwhelmed because I'm like, I may as well be in a group by myself at this point, because you guys, half of the group isn't even participating. And then when you do, the work that you're giving me is like literally booty, you know, like it's just not it. So I remember I emailed my teacher and I asked her, like, is there any way that I can get like possibly taken out of this group? And then the next day, instead of like pulling me to the side or emailing me back at least, or like talking to me about it, she approached the group at the table and like leaned over and was just like, yeah, you know, like Kristen sent me an email and said that she kind of had like some, you know, issues with the group. You know, you guys aren't really contributing, and like basically just like to put everything out there. And that was just like so embarrassing because it's like, girl, like I thought we were locked in. Like I would have thought that this was like a student to teacher confidentiality moment, and that you were just gonna like, I don't know, like I don't know what I was expecting her to do, but it wasn't that. And now you're like telling the whole group that I don't want to work with them, and, you know, calling them out. So they're all kind of looking at me like, girl, like you threw us under the bus, like, you know, looking like, why didn't you talk to us about it? And they were like super confused. And in the end, I'm just like, no, like it's fine, it's okay. And honestly, like after that, like they did kind of like step it up and like start doing a little bit more, but it didn't really do much. Like at the end of the day, like I still went through that psychology class, like doing everything pretty much by myself. I think I ended up getting like a B plus, which I was irritated about because it's like, it's not that serious. Like I wanted that A, you know, but it is what it is. But that was like a super embarrassing story that I had when it came to college, like her calling us out in that group. And then on top of that, like it was stressful because since I was doing like medical billing and coding, my college at the time was getting rid of the program because there was only 3 of us in the program at the time. And so I guess it must have been like losing popularity or something like that, or they felt like it wasn't worth the investment. So they were like, yeah, your degree is like not going to be available for you to finish if you don't finish by this summer of 2018. And I'm like, huh? Like, I'm only going to school part-time at this time, only taking like 2 classes a semester. Like, I know this was a 2-year program, but I was on year 3. And like, sweetie, I would have dragged it out to 4. You know what I mean? Like, I was fully prepared to like take my time when it came to this degree, because it's like, I knew that like I already didn't do well, and like school was mentally a lot for me because I like was so unwell and unhinged in high school. You know what I mean? Like barely making it through, like missing like a week of school straight just because I had so much anxiety and I was just like depressed. So I knew that like I really needed to be intentional with like taking my time when it came to college. And I was okay with that, you know, but because they were getting rid of my degree, they were like, you have to finish. And that like literally sent me into such a frenzy. I was so stressed out because it's like, I felt like it was unfair. Like, you're making us finish all of our classes before the end of the summer when it's winter semester, to only have this winter, spring, and summer to do what I gotta do so I can graduate. Like, it was a mess, man. And then on top of that, like, I ended up doing my walk like in June, but didn't actually end up finishing, or it might have been May when I had my ceremony. But I was like, I already know I'm gonna do my ceremony, and then I felt anxious because I'm like, there's a possibility that I could very well like not finish school because I still had to like go to school up until August. So yeah, they let me walk, you know, knowing that I was gonna continue to finish my what's it called? I can't find the word. Like when you are in college and then I had to like be mentored at a hospital in their billing department. I can't think of the word, but I had to do that, you know, before I could finish. So that was stressful. And then on top of that, they were like, oh yeah, and since you have to finish your degree within this certain time because we're getting rid of the program, you have to do coding 1, 2, and 3 all at the same time. And I'm like, huh? Like, what are the freaking odds that I end up in this situation? Like, I have to do coding 1, 2, and 3 at the same time instead of like separate like everybody else did before me. So that was like also extremely stressful, because then it's like once I got into it, I thought, dang, like this is really hard. And like, you know, when you start college, you're doing like all of your general classes first. So when people ask like, oh, how do you feel? It's like, you don't really know how you feel about your chosen profession or your chosen degree really until like year 2 or 3, because you're doing all the general stuff first. And then once you get into like classes that actually apply to your degree, that's when you kind of know. But then once I got into classes that actually applied to my degree, I had to do all of these classes all at once. And I was just like, okay, well, it seems like I'm not going to like this career. So it didn't even give me like a good impression of like being excited about what I was getting into, because I had to do so much at the same time. But at the end of the day, like, I made it, you know, and now I'm like working in the field that I have my degree in, and everything's okay. But that was just like really traumatic. Like, there's just so many other stories when it comes to college that like I can get into. You know, like I thought, oh, this is going to be the time where I'm going to be able to make friends. But then it's like, I only have 3 people in my program. Like I go to class and it's literally just this huge freaking room, and it's just us 3 and the teacher. Like, that was awkward, you know? Like, I don't know. But overall, like, I wouldn't, you know, go back and change anything, because it got me to where I am now. And like, I am pretty happy with like what I do. So those are just a few stories, you know, the psychology and like having to take all those classes and the stress of all of that I had to go through. But overall, it's like, if you're in college right now, don't give up, because there were so many times where I just felt like I wanted to give up. And I'm glad that I pushed through and I was able to finish it, because there was literally days where it's like, I couldn't see the end of the light. Like, I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, I was like telling my boyfriend, like, I don't think I'm going to do this. I don't think I can finish. And he's like, it's okay. Like, this is only temporary. And I used to hate when he said that. Oh, it's only temporary. And I'm like, no, this is forever. Like, I'm going to be stuck in this situation forever. I'm never going to finish. But he was right. Like, the struggle was only temporary, but I just felt like it was going to go on forever. And then I was going to be stuck working in fast food and be miserable and unhappy for the rest of my life. You know, like, the drama was real. The drama was really real, but we're here. And when I say, like, if you're in college, don't give up, I guess I should take that back, because it's like, college isn't for everybody. Like, my boyfriend tried a semester and he didn't like it. And in the end, he ended up like later down the line, a couple of years later, found out about like a CNA program through his family member. And now he's a CNA. So it's like, sometimes, you know, like, you do have to give up on something if it feels right, because then it can just like lead you down a path coincidentally to something else, you know? So it's like, keep that in mind too, you know? But in my situation, it ended up working out. So, but yeah, so the next segment, of course, is my favorite segment, called Favorite Thing of the Week. And this week's favorite thing, ooh, I don't know if you can hear my neighbor's dog. That dog be wildin', so excuse that. But this week's favorite thing is a Switch game called Good Pizza, Great Pizza. I think that's the name of the game on the Switch. I've been like super into like cozy gaming. I made it to like cozy gaming TikTok and finding out about like all of those games. So it's basically a game where, I don't know if you guys have already played it or not, but for those who haven't, you're basically like a pizza shop owner and you're just making pizzas. So you have customers come in, they tell you, you know, what toppings they want on it. You can unlock different features to like help you assist with putting the toppings on there. You can upgrade different decor in your pizza shop, keep track of your earnings and stuff like that. So it's really, really fun. And honestly, I might have to go into a story time about like my trauma with pizza and like cheese, because I don't like cheese, and it's gotten to the point where I even had to like talk about that in therapy. Like, it's gotten better now, but ooh, geez. But yeah, so it's a coincidence that like I don't really like pizza that much or cheese that much, but I enjoy the Switch game. And it's even like funny because one of the customers came in and he had like this hoodie on the game, and he was like, "I'm gonna rob you. I mean, pizza," and then just left. And I'm like, yo, like, am I really about to get, like, is this a stick up, word to Beyonce right now on the game? Like, that's just so funny that the creators put that in the game. Like, not me about to get robbed on my pizza game, huh? But yeah, so you guys should definitely check that out. Like, if you're into cozy gaming and stuff like that. I play Animal Crossing, you know, and like I said, The Sims. So I'm not into like the GTAs and like, you know, intense games like my boyfriend is. Like, I want it to be as cozy and cute and sweet and simple as possible. So good pizza, great pizza. It's a really great game. I've been really enjoying it. But yeah, so that brings us to the end of today's episode. Really so excited and happy that you guys are here joining along the journey. Thank you so much for listening. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Rate me 5 stars on all the platforms with the podcast. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.